Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dump and Change. Today our guest is hometown hero Spencer Meier. Spencer, how's it going today?
Good. Thank you for having me on. Pumped to be here.
We're super excited to
Highly
have
requested guest.
I doubt that, but thank
Very
you guys.
popular guy, I guess.
No. It's in the past.
All right, well, let's go back a little bit. You grew up in Sartell. How did you first get involved in hockey?
So actually, my house in Sartell in the backyard, my dad dug a pond. He's a big hunter and fisher.
Oh.
So he basically just dug the pond. So when I don't even know if this is legal, but he would catch fish in the summer, and it was usually bass, and he would bring the bass back to the pond. So then we could fish in the pond and catch the fish out of the pond. And that was when I was really young, so I had the little rod and everything, whatever. Anyway, then my grandpa had season tickets to St. Cloud State games. So then I went to a game with him, and I instantly just fell in love with the game. But I didn't start organized hockey, youth hockey, until I was 7 or 8, because I would just go to the games, and then I would come back, and me and my dad would just skate on the pond, because the pond would freeze. And he shaped the pond in a peanut shape to give it maybe a lake shape.
Okay.
So as we got older skating on the pond, we would play 3-on-3, and people would run into the sides on the middle because it came in like a peanut. So he always says, if I would have known you'd played hockey, I would have built it, in
a peanut. Yeah,
peanut.
right.
But that's kind of how it all started, was the backyard pond.
That's awesome. And then going into your high school year, were you kind of anticipating college dreams and stuff like that?
Yeah, I still remember vividly. I was we had a family friend. His name was Chris Howe. He coached at St. John's, and then he coached at Concordia College. And I remember going to their locker room, and then I'd skate with them, or whatever. I'd be oh, it'd be sweet to play college hockey. And my dad was yeah, it'd be great if you could get to that level. That'd be awesome, it'd be cool, but it's a hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I was always I want to get above that level. I want to get to the D1 level.
Yeah.
And then obviously going to the games with my grandpa. My grandpa had season tickets here for 25 years, and I'd always go to the games, and I dreamt of playing at St. Cloud. But going into high school, I never knew.
It was a possibility.
If it was a possibility or not, really. I just always worked hard, and the rest fell into place.
Were you good in high school?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Is that when you started to be
Yeah, that's when I started to, I guess, get more recognition. But honestly, I was kind of a late bloomer, I would say. I didn't get recruited until juniors. I was able to play Elite League, which was awesome.
Right.
I think that's the best league for kids in Minnesota, instead of going to juniors, but that's just my opinion. So I played Elite League junior and senior year, and then got some recognitions from NA, AHL teams, but nothing really in the USAHL. And then I got drafted to the USHL by, Sioux Falls. Then, funny story, sorry, I'm going all over the place.
You're good.
But funny story, Nick Oliver was our assistant coach at St. Cloud, was my assistant coach at St. Cloud. But at the time, he was the assistant coach at Sioux Falls. And it was me, Nick Perbix, Chase Brand, Seamus Donahue. I think that's it. But if I'm missing someone, I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
But so Nick Oliver actually cut all of us at Sioux Falls. He cut me, he cut Perbs, he cut Seamus, Chase. He cut all of us. So then we were dropped by Sioux Falls. And then Fargo drafted me, and I ended up going to Fargo. And then that's when I kind of started to get recruited by St. Cloud. And then coming to St. Cloud, Nick Oliver was our assistant coach. So it was always the joke that, you really want us here?
Yeah, a little bit of beef there.
Was he the D coach?
No, he was a forward coach.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah. No, but I love Ollie. He's one of the best guys I know. But it's just funny because it's kind of funny how that happened.
Yeah. So then you
I shouldn't say he cut us. He was the assistant coach, so I'm sure
he didn't save you.
But he didn't save me.
That's true.
He didn't save us.
Did you play anywhere else in Fargo? You played a game in Minot, no?
Yes, played one game in Minot. So after my senior year of high school, I went to Minot for probably a month, and played one game there, got scrizzed 4 of them, played one game, played well. It was awesome. It was pretty cool. And then came back to Sartell and then had a really good camp in the summer at Fargo's tryout camp, call it. I made the team out of tryout camp, then went to Fargo. It was actually kind of funny. Kerry Eads pulled me aside and he was like, yeah, not sure how much you're going to play. You might be up and down with us and might not, whatever. Might be like a 1 game a weekend guy. And then first weekend, sure enough, I was scratched Friday. Saturday, I got to play because there was a bunch of fights in the first game and guys got suspended, whatever. So I got to play.
Lucky.
I got an assist, played really well, and then ever since then, played the rest of the game. So it worked out, and I was going to commit to Northern Michigan, actually, because they were like the team that was calling me all the time. They really wanted me. And then I don't know if this is true or not. I think it's true. My grandpa wouldn't lie, but my grandpa has season tickets to the St. Cloud State games, and he saw Gibby in the hallway one time. He was like, "Hey, Gibby, my grandson, you're gonna lose him. You're gonna lose
Who's
him if
Gibby?
you don't get him." Mike Gibbons. He was a long-time assistant coach.
He was a coach there?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He was assistant coach for St. Cloud. My assistant coach here at St. Cloud with Ollie for 2 years.
Okay.
But so he saw him in the hallway. He's like, "Gibby, you're gonna lose him. Don't lose him."
Yeah.
And so then St. Cloud called me, and I was like, "Well, I don't even need to visit."
Yeah.
Your grandpa hooked you up.
So yeah, kind of grandpa made it happen.
He did.
Yeah.
So before Minot and Fargo, had you ever been in a position of being in the stands? Probably not.
No.
What was that like?
I mean, it was tough, but I feel like coming out of high school, I kind of knew I'm not as good as these guys.
Right.
But they like to get those guys in, and I was lucky enough to play a game and played really well and learned a lot. And then Fargo had the same thing. It's just like dealing with adversity,
Yeah.
and I give a lot of credit to my parents the way I was raised.
Yeah.
Nothing comes easy. You
Right.
got to work for it. And, if you're scratched, so be it. Put your head down and keep working, and
Yeah. A lot of guys.
things will fall into place.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of guys describe you as a very hardworking guy. Do you think that was something that was kind of instilled in you when you were a kid, or did you kind of grow to learn that?
I think it was I got to give credit to my parents, obviously, but I think it was just from being raised and right as a kid. I would help my dad with things, or if my mom needed help or whatever, my sister, I always helped them. And it was kind of funny, it was back when the video games started to really come out, like the GameCube, and the PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
whatever. And my dad hated it. And so we had the pond in the backyard, and I remember he'd always be like, get on the pond. If you want to be great, you got to get on the pond, whatever. And I would know what time he got home from work after school. So after school, I knew I had 20 to 30 minutes to play video games. And then I would hear the garage door, and I would quickly unplug the PlayStation, turn off, and then get my stuff on quick and go out on the pond. Just so he
Cheating
knew.
the system a little bit.
Yeah, just so
Yeah.
he didn't see me playing video games or whatever. But and then sometimes I wouldn't always want to go on the pond. There'd be obviously I loved hockey, but there'd be times I was like, can I just sit inside?
Just wanna play my games.
But he would be able to see how long I skated on the ice by the amount of
Right.
snow on the
Yeah.
ice, when you make cuts. So there'd be times I knew he'd be gone, and I'd go out there and I'd just use my skate. And I'd be going around, shoveling snow with my skate to try and make it look like I was buzzing around.
He's like,
out
oh,
there.
Dad, I'm winded.
Yeah, I'm gassed now. I gotta play video games. I'm tired. So it's just kind of instilled that way, and then he's gonna hate me for telling this next story, but just stuff like this. He wanted me. He absolutely loves me, and I absolutely love him for it. I would not be here where I was without him, or my mom for that matter, and my sister. I can include you in it too. But,
Covering all your bases.
but he would so he would always be like, make sure you shoot your pucks, and this would be in the summer, And as a kid in the summer, you're just I just want to go hang out with my buddies, ride the bike, screw around, whatever.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to sit inside,
Right.
And before I say this, I'm going to be the same way with my kid. So sorry to my kid in advance, but he's going to be on the pond, or he's going to be shooting pucks, or shooting basketballs, or whatever sport he plays, or she. And he would always tell me to shoot pucks, and he'd come home and be like, "Do you shoot pucks?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I shot pucks," even if I didn't shoot pucks.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Yeah, I shot 100 of them today, whatever." And he spray painted the bottom of my stick one morning before he left to work with black spray paint. So, like, obviously, if you're a hockey player, you know that if you shoot pucks on the concrete, like, it's going to wear off.
Right.
And he got home that day. He's like, "Spence, you shoot pucks?" He's like, "Yeah, I shot a lot of them," you know? He grabbed me, not in a bad way, just grabbed me, took me outside, and he, like, put the stick, like, right up on my eyes, you know, or whatever. And, like, he was like, "No, you didn't." The spray paint would be scraped off, and there was, you know, a few foul words in there too. But it was like, you know, he was like, "The spray paint would be scraped off. Don't ever lie to me again," you know, whatever. So then I was like, shit. So then, ever since then, I was like, okay, you want to play those games? Every morning I would, like, look at the blade, and, like, if it was spray painted, I would just, like, scratch it on the concrete, you know, and, like, whatever. And there'd be times where I'd actually shoot pucks, but it's like every day it's like, come on.
More effort into cheating it than you
Right,
did.
honestly, I would have just, if I would have just done it, whatever. I'd maybe be in the NHL right now if I would have just not went like this, you know, and actually done it. But
yeah, because then, like, transitioning into being on your own, how did you kind of find that motivation in yourself?
Well, it's like that was when, like, I was young, you know, and then once I got to, like, high school, I was like, all right, I really want this, you know, like, so then it was, like, just on my own out there. And then, you know, it got to, like, just like, yeah, my dad even have to tell me to go out there. I just did it, you know, because then I knew I, like, wanted it. But when you're like, you know, when you're like 10 to, you know,
I'm not
13 years old, it's like, well, sometimes, you know, I don't know what I want to do yet, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so a couple funny stories there. But as far as the work ethic goes, yeah, I mean, I think it comes from my dad and my family and how we were raised, and it's just like, if you got free time, why not work on it? And, you know, kind of be the first guy there and the last one to leave is kind of the mindset. And
that's what we've heard.
You know?
We've heard that about you. I heard a story that, I don't know if this is true, but you had to be, like, banned from the ice in Fargo, or can you explain what this is
I would
about?
always, like, well, like, I never missed an optional skate, like, when I was high school or, like, whatever. Like, in high school, we had a late start on Wednesdays, like a 2-hour late start, and there'd be nobody on the rink in the morning. So, like, instead of, like, so let's say school started at 8, now it started at 10. I don't know what it was. But from, like, 8 to 9:30, I would just go to the rink and skate. Like, if it was optional, whatever, I would go. And when I got to Fargo, like, on the schedule, in the morning, it was ice open from this time to this time, then practice in the afternoon, whatever. And I'd be like, well, ice is open, you know, I'm going to go. So I would always go, and then Carrie Eads, like, saw me in the hallway one time, and Carrie Eads is, like, scary dude. Love Carrie, awesome guy, one of the best coaches. But, like, you know, he's especially an 18-year-old kid, you know, he's a scary dude.
Scary, yeah.
And I saw him in the hallway. He's like, "Spence, can I talk to you for a sec?" I was like, no, that's not a good impression. But he's like, you know, deep voice. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? You know? And, like, this is at the start, so it's like, oh, I'm getting sent down for sure.
Yeah.
And I go in his office. He's like, "You got to stop." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You can't come to early practice. Like, optional. Like, you can't come. Like, you're gonna get worn out. Like, it's a 72-game season. Like, you're gonna get worn out. Like, stop. Just come to practice. You'll be fine." I was like, "Oh, never been told that before by a coach. You know, usually it's like, oh, you know, keep working."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually got banned from going to optional skates.
So for the rest of the year, you couldn't go to optional skates?
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he did that, actually, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, maybe shortened it.
Maybe you were out there a little too long.
I don't know,
you must
maybe,
have been
but
out there crazy.
I wasn't doing anything. I mean, maybe I was, but I was out there all the time, so I get it. And you know, I had a good year that year, so credit to him. Maybe maybe if I would have continued, I would have got burnt out.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe if I would have continued, I'd be in the NHL.
Maybe that's on him.
Maybe that's on
that
it.
could be on him.
Yeah.
He's the reason
No,
you're
it's
not
on
in
me.
the show.
It's on me. After the year, it was kind of crazy. I didn't know if I was going to go in or not, and that was when Bob Motzko left for the Gophers.
Yeah.
Because you were committed there?
Yes, because I was committed to St. Cloud, and then
Mm-hmm.
he left, and then Lars got the job.
Okay.
And I don't think I was going to go in under Motzko, but Lars likes to have 9D just for injuries and whatever. So he came. I actually had to go to the Fargo's tryout camp again because all the returning players go, whatever. And he watched me play there. He's like, no, you're going to come in. And then, but Kerry Eads really wanted me back to stay.
Yeah.
And he's like, you'd be a leader of this team. We could, and we won the Clark Cup championship.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys were coming back. So he's like, we could, win it again, go 2 times in a row. So it was a tough decision, but I was like, I'm not giving up the decision to play for St. Cloud. Like, what
Right.
if, I
Time
have
is
to
now.
go. Time is now.
Yeah.
And so Lars actually had to call Kerry, and like I said, Kerry's
They had to
sometimes can
fight
be a
over you?
scary guy. And that conversation wasn't the best I've heard, but
Interesting.
but then I had to call
Wow.
Kerry and tell him, and it was like, he's so supportive, and I love Kerry to this day. He still texts me happy birthday, whatever, like
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like, he's a great
Yeah.
guy. But he was, he's like, I don't think that's the right decision, whatever. But it was good.
What was like the biggest transition or change from transitioning from Fargo to St. Cloud?
Probably just like strength, speed, and then strength. You're coming to the team, like seniors are 24, 25 years old,
Yeah.
and you're 19. That's probably the difference. And then college is more like definitely at St. Cloud. I don't know about other schools. Definitely not as good as St. Cloud. St. Cloud's the best. But like
Right.
the culture in college is like 10 times better. Like, we had a really good culture in Fargo. I was lucky there, but like juniors is kind of like pro, where it's like kind of businessy.
Yeah.
So like the guy you're competing against, like, you kind of hate each other. Like
Right.
you want him to fail and he wants you to fail. You know, so rightfully so. You want to play. But in like college, you're with them for the next 4 to 5 years, and like you're a family. So that's what's awesome to me about college. Like, and then you talk to guys in pro, and it's like, yeah, it's so selfish and whatever. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was probably strength, speed, and just like the family feel. It was awesome.
Did you know any of the guys on the team at the time when you were coming in? But you had a decent amount of people that you kind of knew about. Did you guys
I knew, at
mesh
least
really
knew them.
quickly?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we meshed really well.
Yeah.
It was, you can't find any better guys than those guys. So.
How was that freshman year experience for you? Did you play right away?
So funny, actually, same thing happened as Fargo. So Lars came up to me and he's like, "Hey, we were in Alaska, first series of my college career." He was like, "Hey, we're gonna keep you out Friday. We want some guys to get the chance to play, and then we'll see what happens from there." I was like, "All right, same." I was like, "That's kind of funny." Same thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Fargo.
Getting knocked
Sure
down.
enough, next day, Saturday, got to play, played well, and then from there, never missed a beat. So kind of cool.
Wow.
Kind of cool. The same thing happened in Fargo and St. Cloud. So.
Yeah.
Was there any point where you were like having been knocked down so many times, was there any point in your life where you were like, I don't know if this is like the right thing for me?
I don't know. I think it was kind of like a prove it attitude. Some people call it.
Yeah,
I can't say
definitely.
it. The other word, attitude. But it was just kind of like, I want to make it, you
Yeah.
know, and it was just, because in like high school, I think the same thing happened. Well, no, Perbs was committed in high school, but like he was also one of these guys, like growing up through like Minnesota has like this high performance program, and like I never made it, to the longest level.
Right.
Got cut,
Yeah.
all the years. Also, if they're watching, political. The guys that make it the first year make it the rest of the years.
Us
It's-
coaching that.
Yeah, we actually coach it, so we'll send it to the higher
Well,
up.
send it to the higher up, because the people that make it the first year, they're going to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So,
That's how most things go.
yeah,
Yeah.
criminal. Like, guys get better, you can
Yeah.
watch the next year.
Yeah.
Guys get better.
And
Anyway,
guys get worse as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't get me started. Going forward, like high school, that's the age people start committing.
Yeah.
And, you kind of like look around, the commitment, and it's like, oh, well, I'm, just as good as him.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And you just start to do that stuff, and then your buddies are committing in high school that you've played with on other AAA teams. You're like, gosh, I'm not getting any calls, whatever. So you just keep going, and then eventually Fargo happened, and things fall into place. And I'm a big believer in the big man upstairs, and he's got a plan, and it all worked out.
And of course, made everything a lot more special.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
And
100%.
Not expecting that coming in. Yeah. And then you were at St. Cloud State for 5 years, or 5 years?
5.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was like a 6th in there. And you were a captain. You were a captain for 3 of those years.
Yep. Very, very lucky, very fortunate for that.
So your junior year, you were voted captain.
Yep.
Why? What put you into this
Can't
role?
understand.
I don't, like I said, how I was raised, I don't know. I just like, I was never, so I always had I was really bad. I still do have it, but I had like a terrible stutter growing up, like brutal. Like I'd go to school and I like wouldn't even want to talk because like I would stutter and then people would laugh, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, how you do like that popcorn reading?
Yeah. Oh,
like,
the worst.
Don't call me. Don't call me. And then I have to read and I'm like looking at the words and I'm like, oh my God. I'd be like reading the whole book as they're reading because I'm like, if they call on me, I got to like practice.
Preparing yourself.
Yeah.
And it was horrid. So I was never really vocal until, I don't know, like high school. It must have switched. Like I was captain in high school, junior and senior year. And it just must have switched. I was just like personality. I was like, once people got to know me, like the stutter didn't matter for me. Like I just like, well, whatever. I was just like being myself. I like to have fun and I also like to work hard. And I think people respect that. They want to have fun. And then, they also, especially at the college level, they want to work hard. So I think that's just kind of what kind of led to it. But yeah, I was always quiet until, I don't know, growing up, super shy, super quiet.
So you were a pretty vocal guy when you got to St. Cloud State.
Yeah, I mean, every new place I would go to, I'd be like, crap, nobody knows I stutter. So they're going to hear it for the first time. And they'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what people would think. Yeah.
And so I would always be so nervous for like the first few days, and then people would hear it and they'd be like, and I'd be like, yeah, I have a stutter, whatever, let's move on, so then we would move on, whatever. And I still love it when guys poke fun of it. Like there's times where I'll have like a bad one and I'll be with the boys or whatever, and then we'll all just start laughing and be like, yeah, whatever, whatever. So it's just kind of like accepting it, and then I just kind of realized like, who cares, and then started to be more vocal. And I think that's what helped me become a good leader, because I was always like, not to toot my own horn, but I was always like a pretty good like lead by example.
Yeah.
And then it turned into vocal as well. So I think most people from juniors I was still pretty shy in juniors, but from college on, like who met me in college are probably like, you were shy.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The loudest guy I know.
Seriously.
The loudest guy I know.
So it comes to a shock to a lot of people, but even was fortunate enough. I'm all over the place, so sorry. But last year playing professionally, I played with my D partner in Fargo. Actually, was on the same team as me last year, and he was like, "Dude, you're a different person."
Really?
And I was
That's
like,
so cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool how it all came about. But yeah, it was really cool going back to your captain question. But it meant a lot to me, obviously, to be voted by your best buddies to lead them, and then was able to lead them again for another 2 years. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
You obviously had a great relationship with your teammates. How was the relationship dynamic between you and your coaches then?
And I had so many that you can name that had an impact on your life. But I think every single one I was, comfortable going up to, asking questions, whatever. Carrie at first was scary, but then it's like, okay, well, he just wants the best for you, and whatever. But St. Cloud coaches are like the best. It's not even close. Like, call it bias, call it bias, call it whatever you want, but it's not. I wouldn't want to play for anyone else, ever.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Definitely.
So.
When did you start realizing you wanted to play after college? Was that even before you got to college?
That was like once I knew like I loved the game of hockey, I would always like be like, I want to play in the NHL, you know, I want to play professionally, you know, whatever.
Right.
But I always knew, like, first I was like, I want to play for St. Cloud so bad. Like, I want to play for St. Cloud. So once I made it St. Cloud, like that first practice even, or like when I committed, it was awesome. But even just like putting on the jersey for the first practice and walking down the hallways, it was like, oh, you know, this is pretty cool. And you know, just crazy how it all worked out. Like, talk about the big man having a plan. Like,
Right.
I've told this story a lot, but I got a call in the summer from Minx, our equipment manager. Do you guys know Minx? Was he gone?
We know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Minx called me. He's like, what number do you want? I have like, I don't know, he listed numbers, and he's like, I have 9, whatever numbers, because St. Cloud is like probably 0 to 40, call it. You know,
Yeah.
anything above that was kind of a no-no. Now
Right.
I think it's changed, but I always liked the number 26 because growing up I watched John Swanson a lot, and then and he would always like flip me a puck before games, whatever. But 26 was taken, and my sister loved Garrett Rowe on the Huskies, who was number 9. My dad was number 9 at St. Cloud here for baseball, and then so I was like, let's have 9. You know, I'll take 9. And I never really, like, 9 was never in my, call it favorites list, but my sister loved it. Dad loved it. And so then a few weeks go by, and my mom, like, is like, you know how parents keep all old stuff, you know, whatever. And my mom was, like, going through old things, and she found, like, a small jersey from when I was younger. And you know how on the back it usually has your last name? Well, it had my like first name. I don't know why.
Spencer.
It had like Spencer on the back, and then it had the number 9 on it, and I had no
Okay.
idea I had it. Like, so it's just crazy how like
Yeah.
when I was little,
Yeah.
I wore a St. Cloud jersey. It said Spencer
Yeah.
number
That's
9,
cool.
and
Full
I didn't even know
circle.
it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I picked number 9, and sure enough,
That's cute.
yeah. So it was cool, cool little story, and yeah, obviously, dream come true.
Did you have an agent throughout college then? Like, how does that work for guys, or
Yes.
just towards the end?
Yes, I had an agent actually starting in juniors, switched over to Tobin Wright, who's actually a St. Cloud guy, and if I would recommend him to whoever.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And he always looked out for me, got me, after my senior year, got me a contract with the Washington organization,
Okay.
and went from there. Got to go to Washington's camp, and then
And that was after your 5th year that you went to the camp, or
Yep.
senior year?
5th year.
So you went to their camp, and then how does that all work?
So I went to their camp. It was just, you know, me, and then you got like Ovi and all, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Just me and the. Yeah.
Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting dressed in the locker room, like, across the way, and then you
Yeah.
got, like, kind of like the main guys who are, like, are going to make the team
Right.
probably in, like, the main locker room, you know, and you're just kind of like, okay, going out there, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's who I'm competing against.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like send me down now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to go out there. But no, it was good. I had rookie camp there, and then so that's with all just like the rookies, whatever. And then you have camp, and then went to Hershey's camp, played a few preseason games, and then went to South Carolina. Had a great year. Super awesome. Charleston, amazing city.
Did you like it there?
Oh, Charleston's stupid nice. Stupid. Like, yeah, so nice. Like, if you have a chance to go, I would go to Charleston.
Okay.
Good to know.
Probably one of the coolest cities I've ever been a part of. And the weather's crazy nice. The golf is awesome. Yeah, it's cool.
And you brought a lot of your teammates along with you then,
Yeah,
too,
kind
huh?
of like the GM of Stingrays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit doing your recruiting.
We saw a video on Instagram of Micah and Kylie
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, doing the face-off thing.
They're
I saw
both
that.
playing there
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, well, and so last year, it kind of gets to the end of the year of college, and coaches are looking to sign guys, whatever, and they asked me, and I was like, I went down the list of all like the St. Cloud guys. I probably had like 5 of them.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we can't have 5.
Can't take the whole
I was
team.
like, well,
No,
that's,
you have to.
I was like,
They're
well,
all great.
that's your loss. you
Yeah.
know? And then I think Oaks and Kupka were going to come, and then Oaks signed with Cleveland, and then Coop came.
Yeah.
So I got to have him for the end of the year, which was awesome. And
Yeah.
then during the summer, they called me because I didn't know I was going to retire yet. And they called me, and they were like, who do you got? You know, what do you think? And I was like, well, Coops, obviously. I was like, Micah's looking for a spot. He didn't like it in Arizona. And then Grant Cruikshank, he didn't like Toronto. And I might be putting words in their mouth, but I'm pretty sure he didn't like Toronto that much.
They're like, I never said that.
So then I was like, yeah, all three of them would be great. I even, there was more guys that I threw in there too, but once again, they were like, dude, I can't have like all six.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, these guys, and then sure enough, like the coach called like the next few days, like, hey, I watched some of their film. Like, yeah, we want these guys. We want these guys. And I was like,
so cool.
And then they were like, you got to talk to them for us. You got to talk to them. I was like, all right, whatever. So I was like, hey, Mike, you want to come play with me and Coop? And then I was like, Crookie, you want to sign with the same organization? He's like, so then they did, and they're all doing really well right now. They're having great years. Crookie got called up the other day to Hershey, so that's cool. And then Mike and Coop are doing really well there. So yeah, kind of like the GM, so you're welcome.
Seriously, you're like their little agent.
So yeah, if Rob, the actual GM, wants to give me a slice of the pie, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was
paying
going
you
to
for your
say, you
efforts,
should be paid for that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
How did the decision to retire come about?
Yeah, it was really hard, obviously. Like, love the game, still love the game.
Yeah.
Hopefully plan to be around it for a while, coaching or
I'm sure
whatever.
you will be.
Running your camp?
Yeah, running the camp. Shout out Spencer Meier Hockey Camp. Sign up. Christmas special right now. Might as well sign up now. It's
Get
cheaper.
yourself some of this.
Get yourself some of the
Swag.
merch, you guys.
Appreciate you guys wearing it.
We're
supporting.
repping the merch
camera
today.
goes on us.
Yep. Pretty sweet stuff.
Spencer
Pretty sweet
Meier
stuff.
sweatshirt.
Yep. Pretty cool
Spencer Meier
stuff.
hat.
Yep.
We got a lot of good stuff.
Gonna try to partner with UNRL as well, or Unreal.
Oh,
Yeah.
This upcoming year. So, and doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Shout out Jacob Mars
Saw
for getting me
this.
started. But
Yep.
going my own way now. Anyway, we'll move on. So
Yeah.
retire. Basically, my senior year of college, I had like a sciatic nerve issue in my back, and I was out for a month or two. And then talking to doctors, they were like, well, surgery will fix it, but obviously you don't want surgery. We can try rehab stuff, get you back to, somewhat playable, and so you don't have to miss your senior year. So then the rest of the senior year, I was kind of like, it was weird. The doctors explained it like, let's say you went into a room and you turn the lights on, and then you turn the lights off, and then you cut the wires to the lights are not going to turn back on because the wire's cut. So that's basically like the signal going to my left leg, because it was on my left side.
Yeah.
That like there's no real signal going to there because the sciatic nerve was like pinched. So basically the wire was like cut. So like did a whole bunch of rehab stuff to try and get the, I don't know, it's like the L2, L3 or the S1, S2. I don't even know. But like that vertebrae off the sciatic nerve. And it worked a little bit, but it was kind of like playing on like 80% one leg, 100% the other leg. So it was like really hard push and then like kind of a softer push. So it was really weird. So then after the season, obviously I didn't want to get surgery again because I wanted to play professional, and kind of live out that dream. So I did a bunch of rehab, got it feeling kind of okay, and then played the next year. Had a decent year. It was up and down. There's pro hockey is a lot of business side of things.
Right.
So like if guys get sent down, they're making more money, they're going to play, so it's kind of the whole business. And then this summer was kind of debating about getting surgery and then giving it a go while seeing after surgery. But I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's rehab. Let's try and train all year or all summer long, try and get it feeling really well. And then it was going pretty well. And then up until like the weeks prior to leaving, I remember skating at Burnix Arena in Sartell. Shout out Todd for giving us ice. We would all go there and skate. And it was just like, I remember it coming back, that feeling of like, God, nothing's really there. Nothing's there. And then, it just was like, Spence, what are you doing? Hang him up, big man's telling you to move on, like it came back in a big way. And it was just, I remember just deciding, I was like, you know what, there's more to life than hockey. I love hockey, and maybe, my path now at hockey is helping the young kids, and coaching and seeing what happens, and I love hunting and fishing, and people who play hockey know that you have zero time besides hockey. It's literally 24/7. So being back, I mean, I've got to go hunting with my dad, fishing, spend some time that way and be able to do other stuff that I love to do. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome. I'm really happy with my decision. I'm looking forward to really help out Sartell, St. Cloud area, and who knows, maybe get into, if Lars needs a volunteer assistant coach,
Right.
he's got my number, so we'll see.
That would be awesome.
That'd be cool. But I've shot on their goalies a few times and, see if I still got it. So
Yeah.
it's been good.
Do you
Come
still
on.
got it?
Kind of. Still got
Okay.
it. It's going away a little bit, but I still
Sure.
got it.
Yeah.
Still got it.
Definitely.
But no, so it's a tough decision. Obviously, I think anyone who's ever gone through it probably can attest to that. I mean, it's been your whole life, so
Right.
whatever. But it's been good. It's been awesome. Enjoy time with fam, and actually have a Thanksgiving with them. Instead of as you guys know, usually you don't have Thanksgiving
Right.
and then Christmas. Instead of in college you got a good Christmas break, but in pro you got fly home on the 24th, spend the 25th, fly back to 26th.
Yeah.
You don't
Crazy.
get a ton of time. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of stuff that people don't realize that the professional athletes and hockey players in general have to go through. So
Yeah.
We're glad you're enjoying
no,
your
it's been good.
retired
It's been
life.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
good.
And get to go to your guys' games, get to go to more St. Cloud games.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Spencer's supported our team.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw him there
Few
Yeah.
at
games.
the Minnesota game for whatever reason that may
Yeah.
be.
Hey,
He was there.
I was there. I was there.
You've
But-
also been. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to go to your hometown hero question.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But that was media and the guys. I don't know, one of the guys said it in an interview one time maybe, or asked about me, and they're like, yeah, he's like a hometown hero. And then it
Took
blew
off.
up. It took off. I got a lot of crap for it. But selfishly, it's kind of it's a cool little title to have. Growing up in Sartell, it was a lot smaller than it is now.
Yeah.
And hockey there wasn't near as many kids playing in Sartell as there is now, which is awesome to see. But it's pretty cool to have that kind of nickname or title. It is cool.
Yeah.
And just growing up watching St. Cloud, you never kind of thought it would come to that. So it is cool. You always want to, I had a lot of people help me, and my goal is just to be that person to other kids.
Yeah.
Right. And you have been. You do
yeah.
you do a lot for
Try
the
to.
community
Yeah.
and
You've been
Try to.
involved in the community a lot.
yeah.
Try
Where did
to.
that kind of start?
Just kind of like what I just said, like just kind of like so many people help you out, you gotta like return the
Giving
favor,
back,
give
yeah.
it back. So what's that saying? Pay it forward or whatever,
Something
Or-
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sounds
people
right.
going through the drive-through, like they pay
Oh,
for the
yeah.
person behind you, and then
Yeah.
like that person's like, well,
Yeah.
shoot, now I got to pay for the person behind them, and it just keeps going. But so that's kind of the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give back.
And it's a way to stay involved too.
100%. I love it. It's awesome. I love the camp. And for a kid, like if I was a little kid growing up and I had a camp in Sartell with all the St. Cloud State players working
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
like, dude,
It's sweet.
sign me up, So, and I'm not just saying that to get people to sign up, but like, I mean, who wouldn't want to
Yeah.
do that?
No, right.
And it's a laid back camp. It's fun. We teach kids the skills that they need to advance, but then also they get to run around, play games, and make new friends, and have fun with the friends that they already have as well. And
Yeah.
it's cool.
Everyone sign up. When is it this year?
August 4th through the 7th.
Be there.
Be there.
Avery might be working too.
I got fired.
No, you did not get fired. We just had so many workers.
I worked
Oh.
1 year with Spencer and then I got fired.
No, Avery did a good job. She did a really good job, actually.
Sounds suspicious.
Oh, I swear, we just have so many workers.
We're teaming up against him.
It's, there's a lot of people that want to work it. So,
Oh yeah.
But I mean, so last year, our house, I lived with 7 of the guys in one house in St. Michael. So, I mean, that was my staff.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
But it's been good.
Shall we?
Questions?
Let's
Yeah.
move on to some questions. We had people write in.
Oh, boy.
Obviously, very popular guy. We got
It's
some good
true.
ones though.
Okay. Community seems to be a big part of Spencer's personality. With coming back home after a stint in the minors, what does he hope to achieve here locally, growing the game and growing the community together with St. Cloud State Hockey?
Wow. Good question.
Loaded.
Loaded.
Loaded question.
Good question. Well, I just want to, I think there's so many opportunities to grow the game. Like, for instance, like in Sartell, I want to, like, hopefully the mayor is watching this. I don't know if he's watching this, but like, I think his name's Ryan Fitzham.
Someone send it to him.
Oh.
Ryan Fitzham, maybe?
Someone send it to
Might be the
Ryan.
mayor. I think he's a really good guy from what I've heard. I'm not in the whole politic thing, whatever. Stay
Right.
away from that.
Right.
You know, that's,
You know,
that's ugly.
It's too much.
Anyway, like we used to have, growing up in Sartell, I was just thinking about this the other day, so it's weird that this question was asked, but growing up in Sartell, I had a pond in my backyard. We had an outdoor rink right by Burnix
Yeah.
Arena, and that's where the game is like, that's where the creativity comes into play. That's where the game is like, you learn to love it, is outdoor. You know, you go to the outdoor rink and someone says, all right, put your sticks in the middle, you know, and you got kids from 4 years old to 35 years old putting their sticks in the middle, and you throw them one way or the other, wherever your stick lands, that's what team you're on, and you just play.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the 4-year-old gets the puck and you let them, you know, kind of go through people. You know, all that stuff is like how you learn to love the game, and like that 4-year-old's never going to forget, you know, I went through 16 people and scored a goal. It's like, well, yeah, buddy, we let you. But anyway. And, you know, so it's like, why do we not have an outdoor rink? And then two, like, St. Cloud games, it pains me to say this, but I've been to a few this year. For whatever reason, the crowd is not what it has been.
Horrible.
And it's like, okay, St. Cloud Sartell, what are we doing? I know there's a lot of hockey tournaments that kind of take that, but if you're a kid, like, I went to a game and I fell in love with hockey. I fell in love with St. Cloud. That's why I'm where I am today. I went to a game. Okay? I'm not sitting on my couch. I'm not watching it on TV.
Yeah.
You're going to a game, and that's how you learn. Watch where people go when they don't have the puck. Watch what, you know, that's where the creativity and stuff happens. Like, watch,
Right.
learn, you know, go to a game. And it's fun. Go to a game, get an ice
Right.
cream Snicker bar,
Yeah.
you know, sit in the stands, have a soda, and watch a game. The parking lot for men's games should not be just for sponsors and handicap, okay? I love the handicap, okay? I'm not, like, I'm not trying to, like,
Canceled.
no, like, I'm not trying to, like, if you're in a wheelchair, yeah, you shouldn't have to walk that far. Or if you have a disablement, whatever, you shouldn't have to walk that far. Absolutely. But the whole parking lot, there's not that many.
Yeah.
Okay. And the sponsors, yeah, we have a lot. Thank you to the sponsors. Love you guys. But once again, they don't need the whole main parking
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
I went to a game. I had to park out in the boonies.
Boonies.
And nobody was parked in the main parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, someone comes to the game for the first time and they got to park out by the landing for the river.
Yeah.
Come
No,
on.
seriously.
They might not come back.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, we can't have that. And then also, let's do more like youth nights. It's better to have people in the stands
Yeah.
than not. I mean, you're going to sell concessions.
Yeah.
And also, students, what are we doing? Okay, college kids, they like to booze. Okay, they like to have fun. Okay,
They do.
and they're 21. Okay, and if you're not, don't do it. But most of them are 21. Okay, and they sell beer now at the game, which is awesome.
Not at ours.
Not
Yeah,
at your
they do.
guys', which they should.
They only did it for Phil the Herb night.
Yes.
Then why are there still cops at our games?
They are doing it like 4 games this year. It's a problem. But
Okay,
yeah.
anyway, they sell booze now at the game. St. Cloud, let's get 2 stands instead of just 1 stand. We don't need the line halfway across the herb. They want to watch the game, not sit in line. Students, I don't know, Pickled Loon, Howie's. I think Howie's still does a shuttle. I'm not sure. But get on that shuttle. The dog pound section is some of the best seats in the herb.
Yeah.
Get there. When I was there, awesome. Awesome. We had people painting their chests. It was awesome. Okay, let's get back to that. If you look at these Big Ten schools, you know, what are the kids doing? They're
Yeah.
going to the football games.
Right.
They're having fun. They're tailgating. Okay, I get it's cold in Minnesota. Whatever. Tailgate inside. Whatever. Like, let's get to these games, students. You know,
Yeah.
let's fill the
I
herb.
agree.
Let's make it rowdy. Okay, let's have fun. You go to, you know, hate North Dakota. Absolutely hate them. But you go to their rink. They have a bar in every section of the rink, basically. Student section is packed. Is that a coincidence? I think not. Okay, whatever. It might not be right, you know. Maybe shouldn't be that way. You know, booze leads to more people. Maybe shouldn't lead to that way, but
It's all right.
that's the world we live in. And it's probably, you know, so like, students, go have fun. There's a shuttle to and from a bar, you know, don't drive. Now there's
Yeah.
Ubers. go have fun at the game. What else are you going to do? Sit inside on a Friday? So
Right.
it's a couple of things. Rink outside in Sartell, parking / youth nights, and students, let's get our stuff together. Get to those games. Okay, get rowdy. The boys need you. The boys need you.
Yeah.
You know, and the girls.
And the girls.
And the girls
Yeah.
need you.
Thank
And the
you.
girls need you.
Thank you.
So,
Love that. You got big plans.
yeah, so there's, yeah, you could say I've thought about it a little bit.
Yeah.
He came on here
A little
to pitch
bit.
this.
Seriously.
Yeah, all right, now I'm done. I gotta go.
All right, next question. After your last game, you and Cornilla were the last two off the ice. It looked like you two shared a moment. What was going through your mind, and what did you two say to each other?
Wow, that made me tear up. So after every win, I would stand by the wherever you ran out onto the ice and give all the boys big high fives, you know, whatever. There's nothing better than winning. And obviously, last game we lost, but my last game as St. Cloud, you know, playing at St. Cloud, super sad. So, you know, I gave all the guys high fives, and there was a lot of hugs and high fives. And then Yami was always in that line. Yami was always the last one. You know, I think we gave each other a high five and then a big hug and just like, I love you. And, you know, we'll always be best buddies. And, you know, we had one hell of a ride. And, you know, obviously in the locker room there was more hugs and, you know, tears or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah. I've heard you have some pretty interesting pregame meal regulations. A little bit of a picky eater, maybe.
Insider, that must be one of the boys or something. Yeah, so I've always been a really picky eater. And I blame it on my dad and my dad's side because I guess he was the same way. Like he grew up on like hot dogs in the microwave, you know? And like
Yeah.
he was really picky. So I blame it on him. And so I was really picky. But like I always hated going to, and it started in high school or like, you know, youth, you'd have breakfast in the morning, you know, with a few guys, and I'd have like the bacon and the sausage. I hated the fake hotel eggs, you know,
Right.
whatever. And they'd always be like, well, why don't you have the eggs? Or why don't you have this? I'd be like, dude, watch your own bobber, okay? Whatever. It was the worst. So growing up, then you get to like the high school, the feeds, you know, and I'm a pro of going through the buffet line or whatever, putting stuff on my plate to make it look like I'm eating. Because you guys all know what happens when you don't grab food. Okay?
Why aren't you
They're
eating?
like, oh, why didn't you eat it? Like, I made this for you. Why are you not eating? And then you have to be like, well, I don't like it. And then I know they're just being nice, but they're like, oh, well, what can I make for you? You know, what do you need? What can I make for you? And really, you just want to get in, get out, not have to bother, you know, because then, okay, so you're going to make me something different, then I'm going to sit down with that different stuff on the plate, and then guess what happens? All the boys look at you like, dude, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
then you get crap for it the rest of the time. So
Yeah.
it's like, I just, you know, so I put it on my plate. I grab a bunch of napkins, okay? And then you'd, like, sit down and you'd, like, pretend to eat it, you know, you'd move it around with a fork, you know, pretend to eat it, made it look like you eat it, and then you'd, you know, do the whole napkin thing, put it on top of the plate, you know. I was a pro at it, you know, whatever. Then I'd go home and I'd eat what I want, you know, whatever.
Which is?
I don't know, when I was in, like, high school, it was probably, I'd go home, I'd crush a pizza or, you know, something. You know, I don't know. But then in college, you know, pregame meal was always chicken and pasta. Well, I was not a huge sauce guy. Still not a huge sauce guy, like kind of the texture thing, whatever. So I'd always have chicken and butter noodles. And they thought it was the craziest thing that I'd have butter noodles. It's like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, so I don't put the sauce on top. Give me a break.
Bland.
It's just bland. But, so yeah, I'd have chicken and butter noodles before every game. And they would always have pregame meal, and sometimes it'd be catered with the sauce already on it. I'd be like, DoorDash, what do we got? Chipotle? You know? Freshman year, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be a burden and be like, oh, the freshman needs, you know, different food.
Right.
But then sophomore year, whatever, hockey ops guy, you know, he's always controls the food. So I just told him, like, hey, for meals, I just bring out noodles. Let's have sauce on the side, and I'll have butter noodles and chicken. So then we got to be good friends or whatever. And then before every, you know, especially on road trips, like when I walk into the meal, he'd be like, oh, Spencer, I got your butter noodles for you, you know, whatever. Like I was 3, which
Yeah.
maybe I was. Nothing against people's food. I'm just a picky eater.
Just a
But,
little weird,
Very
but
picky.
Yeah, pretty picky. But now I'm I'm a little better, I would say now, but I like growing up in school, packed my own lunch every single day. Did not eat school lunch once.
Very
Ever.
particular.
Very.
So I always pack my own.
So now you're living it up, cooking for yourself.
Yeah, now, I mean, you can ask a lot of the boys, but I make some of the best enchiladas out there.
Oh, is that
And
your
that's
go-to?
like, that's got sauce in it.
It does have sauce
That's
in
got
it.
a lot of stuff in it.
Lot
So
of
I've been
stuff,
growing.
yeah.
You know, I've been stepping out of my comfort zone.
Expanding your palate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
expanding my
work.
palate. So, yeah. But,
Go for jersey pull in overtime.
oh, one of the worst calls in history of hockey. I know refs makes mistakes, but that was horrid. Also, the NCHC refs, what are we doing? Like, when we're playing non-conference opponents, they're like, usually, so like, let's say we go and play Minnesota or a Big Ten team, or we go and play Bemidji, WCHA team, or now it's CCHA. Like, those refs are like, they're not going to admit it, but they're going to like give more calls to their conference team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
right.
NCHC, Heather Weems, let's talk to these refs, okay? They're not helping us out at all. Okay, it seems like the calls go to the other conference. It's like, what are we doing? So we're playing Minnesota,
Right.
okay? Homecoming, place is juiced, okay? Nuts to butts and the whole thing. And place is going wild. We tie it up in the last minute of the game. Place is absolutely jumping. It's 3-on-3 OT now, okay? I think it's like 4-4. Perbs goes behind the net. He has a forechecker on him, literally grabs his jersey and pulls him backwards. And you know how you watch video, you can stop the frame. It's like how, like, in football when sometimes people grab the shirt and the shirt, like, rips. Like, I'm surprised Perbs' jersey didn't just rip. I wish it would have, because then he would have kept going. But he literally pulls him backwards. Perbs falls down, and they grab the puck, and it's 3-on-3. So they grab the puck. It's a quick 2-on-1 or a breakaway or whatever, and they score. Like,
And they didn't call anything.
bogus. Didn't call anything. Then Bob Motzko, love you, called Perbs a diver. Okay, we don't need that, you know. And it's just like, you know, and Bob, like I said, I love you, but I'm going to stick up for my buddy. Like, he's not a diver. That was a penalty.
Bad call.
And
crazy.
the worst is when the ref calls you the next week and it's like, oh yeah, I screwed up on that one. Like, dude,
Yeah,
Did
obviously.
he say that?
obviously. I don't know if he did, but I think he admitted he screwed up eventually. But like,
Yeah.
refs will now, like you talk to Lars or whatever, refs will like call you, be like, oh yeah, sorry about that call. It's like, well, yeah, I was trying to tell you that on the ice.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
matter
know,
now.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter now. And
Yes.
refs are people too. They make mistakes. Without them, we wouldn't be able to play the game. They're awesome.
Just trying not to get canceled.
Yeah. But it's like, what do we, like,
Yeah.
NCHC refs, give us some calls.
Yeah, seriously. I agree with that. Sometimes when we play like other teams at our home rink, I'm like, okay, help us out a
Yeah,
little
like,
bit.
why?
Like,
right.
You should be on our side.
yeah,
here.
when we go like to the East Coast and
Yeah.
stuff, like you never get anything called
Oh,
in your
no.
way. So, I don't know, something to consider, refs, if you're watching. Did playing hockey at a high level give you confidence in other areas of life?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think hockey prepares you for a lot of areas of life. I mean,
Yeah.
when you don't play, you know, you got to keep working hard and try and get into the lineup. It teaches you a lot of things. Like, there's so much adversity in hockey that you have to go through. If you're an employer, like, I have a job now, so I'm not just toot my own horn here, but if you're an employer and there's a hockey player on your resume, like, and he played at a high level, like,
Hire 'em.
you should probably look into him, you know, or her. And it's like, you got to go through a lot of stuff playing hockey.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's demanding, it's time consuming. You got to manage your time, and you got to go through a lot of adversity, whether
Right.
you're playing or not, bad calls, good calls, you know, winning, losing. And probably the biggest thing is like the team environment. You know, in hockey, I feel like, you know, you got at most maybe 25 guys in a locker room, and you're family with them. You got the choice to be family, and if you're one of those that don't want to be a part of the family, it usually doesn't go well for you. And it's the same with
Yeah.
the work environment. Whether you like the guy or not, you got to work with them, and
Exactly.
so you might as well become as tight as you can. And
Yeah.
so I think hockey teaches you a lot. I mean, I think a lot of, there's a lot of successful people out there that would probably say the same.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it goes with every sport, but like with football, you have so many guys. You know, basketball might be the same way,
Yeah.
but I think there's a lot more selfishness in basketball. Soccer, there's a ton of people, so
Nothing compares. Yeah.
baseball, there's a
Interesting.
lot on the roster, but You know, so, and I think with any sport, if you have a good family, good culture, you're going to be successful. And I think that's with job world too.
Saw that happen.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's it for
all
the
we got for
day.
today.
Spencer, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you guys. It was fun. It was awesome. Give these guys a listen. They're awesome. Obviously, they started this from ground zero.
Yep.
It's going pretty well. Thank you for supporting my camp stuff.
Yes,
Sign
everyone
up
go to
for-
Spencer Meier Camp if you want to be better at hockey and have some fun.
And hopefully I didn't offend anybody. I don't think I did.
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
If he did at any point,
We
he just
apologize.
wants to
I'm
apologize.
sorry. I mean, I just try to, you know, like the camp slogan, I just try to work hard and be a good person.
That's it.
Love that.
That's all you got to do to hopefully succeed in life. And it was fun, and thank you guys for having me on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on Dump and Change.